So for the 12 of you who still check in on this channel, hoping that I might finish the series I started last year before I got bored with it, I have an announcement. Actually, it explains why that video series came to a halt. And the answer is, I was busy finishing my new book. The GLP-1 Solution, a complete program to maximize your weight and fat loss results. I've been aware of the GLP-1s for years now, probably since the whole COVID TikTok Ozempic craze that convinced a bunch of people who didn't need the drugs to use them, which made sure that diabetics who did need them couldn't get them. Internet, this is why we can't have nice things. But over the next couple of years, I started getting people in my Facebook group who were using the drugs, considering using the drugs. I had a couple consultation clients that had been on them. My powerlifting trainee, Sumi Singh, author of Becoming a Mentally Tough Motherfucker, who also helped me edit my new book, which is why it has a lot less typos than mine usually do, had numerous clients that were on them. More importantly, having looked superficially at the data at that point, I realized that these were changing the game. The simple fact, and I say this as someone who has been in the fitness industry for 3 decades, is that we failed. In the aggregate, the grand majority of people are not being successful with long-term weight loss. And nothing's going to change that. There are no new diets, there are no new exercise interventions, there are no new behavioral interventions, period. The GLP-1s have completely changed the way we approach the treatment of obesity. And ignoring the fitness shitheads who still think this is just a matter of grit and willpower and sucking it up and it's cheating, the same people who take 6 pre-workouts to get hyped up for their training, the same people that take 6 different anabolic steroids, insulin, GH, IGF-1, and 6 untested peptides will tell you that a drug that helps people to lose weight is cheating. The fitness industry, this is why we can't have nice things. But see, I keep up with the research. And in recent years, obesity is being recharacterized as a chronically relapsing condition. That means chronic treatment. The GLP-1s are a huge step in the direction of providing that. But overweight and obesity is still mired in the same moralistic, ignorant bullshit that it has for centuries. It right now is where mental health treatment was 30 to 50 years ago. Oh, you're not depressed. Just suck it up. Just try harder. Just pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Thanks, Reagan. Now it's normalized to use medication for chronic treatment. And I'm not saying it's not overprescribed and overused, but mental health, there is no cure unless the psychotropic stuff works out, period. In another 10, 20, 30 years, maybe, hopefully, people will accept that that's the case for obesity. Not the dumb fuck fitness shitheads. They never will. They'll justify their own supplement and drug use, but this is just a line they refuse to cross. Although I bet a lot of them are using it secretly and not talking about it. Isn't that right? Anyway, I don't take that moralistic attitude in my group. I'm more interested in helping people reach their goals. And that means using every tool available to help them get there. The GLP-1s are one of those tools. And objectively, one of the most powerful that we've yet come across. Because I'm not a fitness shithead. Okay, I'm a different kind of fitness shithead, by which I mean the kind that is right and other people in the industry dislike me for it. Because they can never rebut my science. I digress. But I'm not that kind of fitness shithead. Regardless, what I found was the case is that there was misinformation on both sides. The drugs were either held up as fucking magic that worked without doing anything else, and sometimes they do. Or they were decried in clickbait bullshit as just fatality in a needle. And as always, the reality lies somewhere in the middle. People were getting no advice, which was causing some of the problems. So I figured, well shit, somebody needs to write a book about this. It might as well be me. And that's what I spent most of last year doing, especially the end of last year, as I was trying to get this book out by Christmas and just didn't quite make it. But I released it like 3 weeks ago, and I figured it's time to do an announcement here. And I want to tell you a little bit about the book. So here's the table of contents. And assuming you can see this, you can see that the first 8 chapters are basically technical background. Brief history of weight loss drugs. I describe how the GLPs have been developed, including to the newest drugs. I looked at The initial development that led to liraglutide, Saxenda and Victoza, semaglutide, Ozempic and Wegovy, tirzepatide, Mounjaro and Zepbound, also retatrutide, which is still in the research stage, and CagriSema, which is in the research stage, but will be approved in a couple years. I look at mechanism of action, side effects, weight loss variability, the interactions of GLP-1s with diet and exercise interventions, long-term weight maintenance. I make some speculation about the future of the GLP-1 drugs. Everything else is applied. Body composition, basic nutrition overview, hierarchy of nutrients, exercise. I talk about how to set up the diet, determine maintenance calories, deficits, and critically, how to set optimal protein intakes. If you're using a GLP-1 and do nothing else, get that right. Everything else, dietary supplements. I also describe a way to use the GLP-1s with my own rapid fat loss, which can achieve 28 pounds of true fat loss in 12 weeks. There is a chapter on the practicalities of using the GLP-1 drugs. Starting doses, escalations, de-escalations, how to take the shot. There's lots of little tips and tricks that most people aren't aware of and nobody is talking about. Finally, talk about plateaus, what causes them, how to break them. And then finally, long-term weight loss maintenance, different options for how to use the drugs, ranging from how to try tapering off them, staying on them forever, switching to other appetite suppressants. And then finally, in an appendix only I could write, I talk about GLP-1 use for lean athletes, including performance athletes, weight class, weight focused, and physique, because we know that they're being used there. Even if Mike Israetel proved that A, they're not magic enough to polish a turd, and B, retatrutide is not a tanning drug. That information is not out there. A lot of that is speculative and will change over time. The book covers everything. Because any of you who've read any of my stuff know that I leave no stone unturned. I pulled every paper, I read them all, I looked at them all. There is shit in this book that people who are clinically using the compounds have never heard of, are not aware of. I guarantee you, you are not aware of it either, unless you have read every study that's ever been done. That's what I spent last year doing, to write this book, to get the information out there. And as I say somewhere, and I will say again, whether you're using a GLP-1 and want to optimize your results, whether you're considering using a GLP-1 and want the facts, whether you're a trainer or coach who will be having clients using them in the future and want to know what's going on from a factual scientific basis rather than bullshit clickbait articles and dipshits on YouTube who just think that obesity is a function of laziness. This book will answer every question you might have had, along with a bunch that you never even thought to ask. And I do talk about all the current drugs, liraglutide, semaglutide, tirzepatide, and retatrutide and CagriSema, because even if they're not already approved, we all know that people are getting them from shady peptide sites. I discuss it all, because of course I do. So that's my new book, titled The GLP-1 Solution, a complete program to maximize your weight and fat loss results. And when I say complete, you know I mean it. This book is not available on my website, which means unfortunately you cannot use my coupon code Mike Has No Tan for it. Instead, it's on Amazon. It's available in Kindle for the low price of $9.95, and I guarantee you it's a bargain at twice that. It's also part of the Kindle Unlimited program, so if you pay for that, you can read it for free. And just so you know, if you go to Amazon via the app on your phone, the Kindle will show as unavailable. You must use a desktop browser or the browser on your phone to get the Kindle edition. I know it's dumb, but I have no control over it. For folks like me who are old and like physical books, I've printed the book in a softcover format, which is available for $24.95. And for those of you who want the perfect coffee table book, you can get a hardback version for $34.95, because why the hell not? Although there's a little weirdness, you might find a page that shows that the softcover is out of print because I had a bunch of drama and bullshit that I had to go through. I'm going to put the correct links in the notes so you can go look at it. So that's my book, The GLP-1 Solution, etc., etc. If you purchase it, by which I mean when you purchase it, because let's face it, we know you're gonna. Thank you. Please leave me a review. It helps a lot. I'm also going to put a link in the notes to a little page I put together that has the entirety of Chapter 2 in it, which covers the entire history of the discovery and development of the GLP-1s. So if you want to get a feel for what's in this book and the writing style, I hope you enjoy it. I will finally put a link. I did another zillion-hour podcast with Solomon Nelson about the GLP-1s, where I talk about all this, and you can see that my Kung Fu is the best. You can go read the entirety of Chapter 2 before you decide to go buy it. So that's my book, The GLP-1 Solution, etc., etc. I'll put a link to that in the notes, and now you should go buy it. I guarantee you, you will not be disappointed.